Good morning. Had a fine night last night. Up and out at 6 a.m. and it's nice and dark in the pre-dawn hours. It's funny how just yesterday I said I didn't want to road walk in the dark, but I want to get into town nice and early, so I'm heading out. Got my headlamp. I'll be careful, and I think within a half an hour or so it should be bright enough where it'll be safe. Just off the road there is the Red Cliff campground. I don't know if they would have had availability, but if I would have made it another 2 miles last night, I could have camped here. Little pay site. I think my stealth camping worked out all right though. There's a welcome to Big Sky sign. We're still kind of on the outskirts communities. We got this nice little dirt road again on the side of the highway, so this is nice. We still got a few more miles to go up, and then we take a left onto a side road, and that'll get us to the middle of the town of Big Sky. Well, the nice dirt track on the side of the highway didn't last very long at all. Back to walking on the shoulder. Those big mountains up ahead in the distance is the Spanish Peaks, and we'll be going up into those next. No more flat terrain. Oh, the dirt track is back. Hopefully it stays all the way through town. A couple more miles yet. Well, I found these guys on the side of the road. We're still like, I don't know, 3 or 4 miles till we get to Big Sky proper. They're gonna meet me there. We took different ways to get here because there's like multiple routes to get through the Big Sky alternate, but we'll both end up in town for breakfast here shortly. I'm gonna finish up the last couple miles. They're gonna hitch.
Yeah, so hitch your own hike.
We'll see you guys at breakfast. Nice houses back there in the outskirts communities. Big Sky itself, I think, is kind of tucked around a little bit into a valley, so we still can't see that area yet. But we got a nice little bike trail to follow. Spotted some hot air balloons coming out of Big Sky. This is going to be the first stop, Cafe 191, right on the highway for breakfast. Here we go, we got some breakfast. Dr. Thunder and Snow Turtle. And I got my usual French toast, eggs, and bacon. And I guess when you order a side of bacon, you get a side of bacon. That's a lot. We finished our breakfast. Now we're heading into the downtown scene, as it were, of Big Sky proper. It's still about another 2 mile walk or so. I think the first stop we're gonna hit up should be a little general store or something where we can get a resupply run knocked out. I think we're gonna need about 3 days, and to the town of Ennis is gonna be the next stop. There's just an absolute ton of construction traffic and stuff going on. Everything's building up. It's kind of a small town, but it's developing quickly. They're building all kinds of new constructions and things out here. You got a ski resort in the background in the mountains. It's just one of those places that's becoming more and more popular. There's the little grocery store market. Should have enough of what we need to resupply. Well, we're done with a resupply run at the little general store that had everything you'd need to get your self resupplied for the next destination. I think the next stop we're gonna hit up is an Outfitters. Look for some darn tough socks for a Snow Turtle. And then there's like a bakery we may hang out at for a little bit. We're in no real rush to get out of town here. Get one last little bit of snacks and things before maybe doing only about 5 miles out of town or so. Kind of winds up one of these valleys somewhere. There's the gear shop we're gonna hit up real quick. Well, no luck with the socks, but the Blue Moon Bakery is gonna be our next stop. We'll be hanging out here for a bit, getting our final bellies filled. We're in no real rush to head out. meals at the bakery. Chilling here for a bit. Got a nice Greek salad going on. Nothing tops off a healthy salad than a brownie and a chocolate chip cookie. Well, we chilled at that bakery place for a good couple hours. I think it's now about 3 o'clock. We're starting to roll out of town. Maybe doing like 4 or 5 miles up a valley. Not sure the exact distance, but it's something like that. But just in like the 2 hours we were in the bakery, it went from totally sunny to cloudy with brown clouds, and it looks worse than that direction, kind of to the west. That totally looks like there's a forest fire in our vicinity. We don't smell anything, and we're checking through support teams and fire map updates and stuff, but there's nothing reported, so either that hasn't updated yet, or we'll see. Maybe it's something from like really far away that's just totally socked in the area, but we're keeping an eye out for forest fire dangers at this point. Well, we're off of the main roads, getting into quieter neighborhoods. There's way too much traffic in this town. Maybe it was a sleepy little mountain town 30 years ago, but right now it is booming and only getting bigger. Well, that is definitely not a normal color of the sky. We don't smell smoke, but worst case scenario, if we get smoked out in the middle of the night, we're only going in a few miles, so we'll just turn around and come back to big sky. See how it goes. Here's our exit. Finally getting back to some trail after all the road walking. The North Fork Trail, Gallatin National Forest. So from here, I think we're only going just a couple more miles. Hopefully we can find a decent flat space. There should be a nice flowing stream up this valley before we get too high up the pass and it becomes just steep. It's a nice and wide, well groomed out trail. It's just a little rocky. Not too bad. I think we're only going maybe another mile or so at this point. Whatever the first decent looking flat spot to put some tents, and that'll work. This is gonna be camp. Checking out these guys' setups. I don't know if I've camped with you guys before yet, but Dr. Thunder's got the 1-person Durston tent, so I haven't seen this yet. Sprite had the 2-person that I got to check out. And then Snow Turtle's got the Gossamer Gear something.
The one.
The Gossamer Gear, the 1. And there's me. I'm definitely going to throw the rain fly over just with the cloudiness, and I think we're actually expecting rain the next couple of days in the forecast. But we're right next to the North Fork Gallatin River. Nice little stream here. Nice little bridge to cross. So we're getting settled in nicely. And I think that's going to be it for today. It's fun hiking around these guys. Haven't really spent much time with Dr. Thunder and Snow Turtle as far as camping, but we're going to be together for a little bit on this stretch. So I think that's it. We're going to get settled in for the rest of the night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. We're up and out, 7 o'clock. Me and Snow Turtle. Dr. Thunder's sleeping in a little bit. He'll catch up later. But today we're looking to do at least 20 miles, maybe a little bit further. And that'll position us so that tomorrow we can get down to a road where we can hitch down to the town of Ennis, which is like 5 miles down the road or something like that. And that'll be kind of the next town resupply stop. Continuing on the Big Sky alternate through the Spanish Peaks. Still making our way up the canyon here, following the stream. I was just thinking how the difference in the sceneries from like how the Wyoming basin was a lot different than Colorado, and the winds was so much different than the basin, and Yellowstone was different, and now we're pushing through the Spanish Peaks. It's just cool seeing the sudden transitions of scenery. Entering the Lee Metcalf Wilderness. Getting closer to the end of the valley. We're going right up through that notch right there. getting very steep. The final bit up to the pass. Still making my way up. You'll notice it's a lot less smoky than it was yesterday afternoon. So one big smoke cloud blew across the country. Now it's just kind of light and wispy. It smells like smoke now. It's kind of that light, sweet forest fire smell. But there's no fires in our immediate vicinity. That was all stuff from further away. Made it to the top of the pass. There's looking back towards Big Sky. Definitely due for a little sit-down break. And there's looking off to the north and west. A little more smoke haze on the horizon looking that way, it looks like. And a steep downhill in our future. Done with the break up at the pass. Making our way down, a bunch of steep switchbacks. Haven't had a climb like this in a good while. Kind of missing these kind of views. Well, that was a fun steep descent coming down from there. Making our way down the valley for a bit. Here's Mirror Lake, still working their way down the descent. It's been steep and rocky and just kind of hard on your footing. Loose rocks everywhere. We're losing a lot of elevation though. It's an hour and a half since we left the summit. We're still working our way in the descent. Lots of twisted ankles, lots of feet sliding out from underneath you, all loose rock. This is a very rough descent. We've hit the bottom of the valley. Oh, there's a nice little campsite there. And we are making our way up the next uphill. Hopefully not as steep as what we've been doing ups and downs so far. It's crazy how much of an environmental shift there's been just in the last week. We went from highs like in the 40s and 50s to now it's in the 80s. Finally hit summer. And it's, I think we're past mid-August, getting into late August. I don't know what day it is. Trudging uphill. It's hot. I've been, I don't know how many days in a row where my feet have been dry. That's been nice. Not used to that yet. Up in that notch is the major pass we came through. Descended on down, making our way up. Very steep. We're going straight up. Well, it's a little past noon, stopping for a lunch break. I think we've done about 11 miles already today. We haven't seen Dr. Thunder yet. He was sleeping in, but he'll catch up eventually. I may just do kind of a shorter lunch break here and then push on. And then maybe the rest of the guys will catch up later once we get to a campsite. But somewhere's coming up ahead is like 9 miles or so approximately. There's a place called Cherry Lake, and then another like 2 miles maybe past that. The topo maps look like the terrain kind of flattens out a little bit, so that might be more of an optimal camping location. So that's kind of what we're aiming for approximately for the end of the day. But we'll be on trail shortly after this lunch break. Done with lunch break, getting back on trail. Dr. Thunder showed up right as I was getting ready to head out. So we saw him for a minute. And those other guys will be following along a little bit later. And the uphill continues to the top of this next ridge. Terrain today has been pretty brutal. It's like 5 miles of uphill, 5 miles of steep downhill. Now we're back to a slog of a long uphill. Long way to go yet still. All of the worst climbs are on the alternates. The red line of the CDT itself is actually pretty mild. There's the top. I don't know what's in our future, but we probably have another massive descent to a massive climb again. Man, today's brutal. We're now getting a lot more of these mountain lakes and ponds. Rocky rolling hills, ups and downs. There's been way too much uphill today. I feel like I'm moderately out of shape just because we've had flat terrain for the last couple weeks. And then they kick us in the butt with one of the worst uphill climb days on the entire trail. Still climbing. We're making our way down to the next big descent. Somewhere's out in the horizon, there's a valley here between two ridges. And off to the left somewhere is the town of Ennis, the next destination. Well, every once in a while there's a view out to the valley between all the major ridges. And a little bit of a view, a flat valley beyond. Just came down to a junction, still following the High Lakes Trail up this way. Just got done with that massive descent. Now we got one more massive steep climb, and we'll be slightly closer just to the Cherry Lake destination. Today is taking way too long. I knew it was going to be a little rough, but this is way rougher than what I thought. Extremely steep. Another junction, 1 mile to Cherry Lake. That was the minimum goal we wanted to hit at about 20 miles in for the day. Man, it's taken a lot of effort to do 20 miles. I think this is the most strenuous day since Colorado. One more steep rocky descent down to Cherry Lake. We're there shortly, but I'm gonna be done at that point. My legs are shot. It's been just too much of a rough day. Made it down to Cherry Lake. Definitely later than I usually get here to set up at camp. Found a decent enough little flat spot there. I haven't seen Dr. Thunder or Snow Turtle yet. They should be shortly behind me, and we'll squeeze those guys in here when they show up. But I think that's going to do it for today. It's been rough. It's feel like the last couple months through Wyoming and everything really hasn't been challenging, and I kind of lost my trail legs almost, and then this was kind of a butt kicker of the day with all these ups and downs. It's like, oh yeah, this is what trails are normally like. But tomorrow I think should be a lot easier. In general, it's all downhill, then it gets flat into a big wide valley, and then we're going to hit a road where we can hitch just a few miles south to the town of Ennis, do some resupply. I don't know if we're going to bounce in and out of there or stay the night. It's kind of a small town. There may not be much amenities, but we'll just kind of judge it based on what time we actually get to town. So we got all that coming up. Whew. I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.